It's no secret that Dream is one of the best Minecraft players. I mean, the guy has beaten the game more times than I can count. In his Minecraft Speedrun vs Hunter series, he's consistently able to take on groups of his friends, with at one point even holding the Minecraft 1.14 speedrun world record. But what makes him so good? Well, the simple answer is that it's a combination of things. Starting off in any situation where someone is outnumbered, like in his Minecraft Manhunt series, it is vital to know how to take on multiple players. Knowing how simple Minecraft PvP is, this is quite difficult in the game, as it requires a lot of precise timing. And when I say precise, I mean very, very precise, down to the nearest half hard, down to the millisecond timing, like beating Bloodless in Geometry Dash timing. Okay, maybe that's a little bit too far, but I think you can see where I'm going with this. So at the very start of the Minecraft Speedrunner vs 3 Hunter rematch video, Dream is brought down to a half a heart by Bad Boy Halo, George not found in Snapnap, in the infamous jungle fight. Now this is personally one of my favorite fights of the series, as in over 5 minutes of edited video, Dream is able to kill George and Snapnap while forcing Bad to retreat. Here's how he does it. Now the fight starts with Dream catching Snapnap alone and off guard. A maneuver like this is absolutely crucial, because in really any of his videos, unless Dream is able to isolate one of his friends, he'll never be able to take all of them on at once. If they're all together, they can all gang up on him, and whenever one is weak, the other two can simply cover while he heals. Now that's why every time Dream kills one of his friend is at least a couple of blocks away from his nearest ally. And that's why it is usually George. Jokes aside, since Snapnap retreats back to his allies here, Dream just decides to return to his food he left in his furnaces. Despite giving up the possibility of killing Snapnap, this is actually a pretty smart play, because even if he did kill Snapnap, without food to regenerate after the fight, Dream would soon be gone, or as he would be pretty low on hearts. Oh, and yeah, one more thing I gotta address, guys. Dream just hit 10 million subscribers. Huge congratulations to him. That is awesome. Been watching since he passed like 100,000 just a year ago. It's insane. Anyway, I obviously want 100,000 subscribers, and then after that, we could hit 10 million. And just like Dream, very, very, very few of you guys are subscribed, to the point where we could actually hit 100K right now if you all did subscribe. So, you know, subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. But then again, I can't make you, so I don't know. Anyway, shortly after collecting his stuff, Snapnap does return with George and Bad. Now this is where things get pretty tricky for Dream. For the next 3 to 4 minutes of the fight, Dream is running. In fact, the majority of this video consists of Dream running. In the 90s, I'm sorry, I couldn't help it. But as I said, Dream must isolate one of his friends if he wants to eliminate him. When he can't do this, the next best choice is simply to run, until he figures out how to outsmart one of his friends and isolate him. And possibly the most crucial maneuver that allows Dream to outrun its opponents is those continuous and successful uses of clutch blocks. Now this is a very common Skywars play, where you make a clearly impossible jump and survive only through the careful timing of placing a block beneath you while you were falling. Man, imagine if you could do this in real life. I mean, that'd make for some pretty cool parkour. Either way, this is a very, very high risk maneuver, and often in his videos Dream will use this strategy, sometimes even casually, in situations where, let's just say if he were to fall, well, he'd fall to the ground faster than Tesla stock. And yes, while Dream does sometimes miss these jumps, his shocking success rate and skill at placing these blocks has definitely saved him quite a few times. Though obviously, Dream is not perfect. I know, I couldn't believe it either when I found that out, and during this process he sadly misses a few of these blocks, and his friends do manage to keep up with him and land quite a few hits on him. The only reason he manages to survive here is because he heals up from, you know, like a half a heart, using cooked meat from whatever animal he's encountered on the speedrun. As I mentioned earlier, without food, Dream simply wouldn't be able to continue sprinting, nor have enough health to fight. Without a doubt, food is one of the most important resources he has on his run. So whenever he does get away from his friends for at least a second, even if it means taking a hit or two, he will almost always eat something. Sure, he might be sacrificing the extra few blocks of distance from his friends, but food always proves useful in the end. Either way, after realizing he was likely to die if he remained in the jungle, he built up using wood to temporarily escape the fight. Whether this was planned beforehand or completely improv, I don't know, but it proved game-changing, as it gave him time to heal, allowing for him to regenerate to more than 3 hearts for probably the first time ever in this video. But more importantly, it gave him the high ground, enabling him to get a few arrows in both Snapnap and George. But it wasn't until George is knocked off the construction to where the turntables. You see, here George makes a fatal error. He steps away from the fight to regenerate. Though with that, he also steps away from Bad and Snapnap. Do you see the issue here? He is isolated. Capitalizing on this opportunity, Dream uses what used to be known as an MLG water bucket. Thankfully, nobody calls it that anymore. Oh yeah, can I just say I miss these all the time. You have no idea how many times I've died trying to do this, and if Dream did hypothetically miss this pretty casual maneuver for him, well, he would die right then and there and the video would be over. Thankfully, he's not me and doesn't miss it, and is able to eliminate George. Now after healing again, he builds up a mountain and does virtually the same thing over, but this time instead of Snapnap and fall damage. Following that, with Dream unable to catch him, Bad manages to retreat with whatever was left of their stuff. Now believe it or not, this is far from one of the smartest and clutchest maneuvers even in this video, but before we get into the straight up ridiculous ending, I want to cover the genius bed play from his first 300 speedrunner video. Now if you don't know about the whole explosive beds in the nether thing, I'm sorry, where have you been? Are you Patrick Stark and living on a rock or something? But assuming you've played Minecraft before, you probably know that, beds explode in the nether. I mean, if not, I just told you. Well, by thinking outside the box, Dream sets up a trap inside of a box using this, and manages to actually blow up Bad George's Sapnap, all with a singular bed. Yeah, it was a pretty funny and pretty cool moment. Though this does bring up a pretty interesting fact. Well, not exactly fact, I'd say more something that I made up that is probably true but I can't prove, so basically pseudoscience. And that's the likely but not proven fact that Dream planned some of his strategies beforehand. Before going into a game, he probably brainstorms a couple of traps and strategies to use during it. So it's no coincidence that in every video, he finds a new, unique, and flawed entertaining way to speedrun Minecraft. It keeps his videos fresh, and more importantly, it allows him to survive for at least a couple more minutes into the next fight. So we've covered fighting in the overworld and kind of some fighting in the nether, but possibly the most hectic fight I've seen on Dream's channel has to be the final end fight of the original Speedrunner vs 400s video. I mean, this video is so jam-packed, it takes up a solid third of the 50-minute video. Yeah, it's really that insane. Surprisingly, the complicated fights with a not so complicated way. Dream is in the end, just doing his own thing, and then George, Snapnap, Bad, and newly introduced Antfrost managed to catch up with him. Though thankfully, as he was smart enough to harvest some ender pearls, which are quite necessary considering the layout of the end. You see, there really isn't much to the end. There's a flat island over a void, and that's just it. I mean, oh yeah, there's also Douglas the Dragon too. I suppose he's pretty cool. Either way, when Dream is fighting against 4 players in this fairly flat terrain, it is pretty hard to isolate just one of them. In fact, in this fight he completely relies on the chaos of the end to separate the group, and doesn't use very many of his famous traps. Of course, in this fight, Dream takes advantage of the chaos to win the fight. Or lose, I guess. I mean, the end isn't very clear. So if you haven't seen the video, you'll see what I mean in just a second. Alright, now back to what I was saying about the ender pearls. Since there is this amazing thing called the void in the end, which, fun fact, if you jump into it gives you a bunch of free diamonds, at least that's what my friend told me anyway, there's only so much space for Dream to run. So he has to run in circles, which doesn't go very well considering one of his friends can always cut him off while the other 3 chase him. So Dream relies on the ender pearls to escape, but that doesn't last very long and he quickly runs out of ender pearls. Again, Dream obviously does, the smart thing and takes the high ground, then of course picks away at the end crystals his friend crafted to heal the dragon using his crossbow. After this, it becomes time to fight. Because the terrain is so flat, this is the prime example of what to do in a 1v4 fight in Minecraft when you're unable to trap or outsmart your opponents using naturally generated terrain. Though also don't forget, there's also the Ender Dragon, who, Dream kinda needs to kill in order to win the game. Now when it does come to taking care of our good friend Douglas the Dragon's newly regenerated health, Dream was able to do so with a lot more ease than I expected, as he was smart enough to bring an enchanted diamond axe to the end, known as the Dream Slayer. Now when you have an axe named after yourself, that's when you know your opponents are in for a little bit of a problem. Either way, Dream had to throw himself under the Ender Dragon, where his opponents can all circle around and trap him. But surprisingly enough, our friend Douglas over here is pretty cool and provided him with a bit of a shield for Dream so his friends couldn't get to him, despite the fact that, Dream was kinda trying to kill him and everything. Either way, for George, Bad, Snapnap, and Ant, this made laying a hit on Dream quite a bit of an issue. But sadly, Douglas couldn't stay sitting on his podium forever, and so of course after he left, it all became fair game. And this is when the true chaos of the end takes place. Here we have Douglas the Dragon leaving, Enderman and Dragon's breath everywhere, with Dream surrounded from all sides. Exactly how does he get out? First off, he has his Dream Slayer axe. I still can't get over that name. One hit deals 3 hearts of damage to any of his opponents. That, combined with everything else, caused him to stay pretty separated. And knowing that Dream could easily use his shield to block incoming damage until the dragon came back, eliminating Dream isn't as easy as all of his opponents rushing him at once. Either way, because they were so separated in the chaos, Dream went off to eliminate each of his friends one by one. Now this is another phenomenal example of just how useful the Dream Slayer axe is. I mean, that is a pretty cool name. As I referenced earlier in this video, given Minecraft's PvP mechanics, winning against multiple players at once without the use of traps, chaos, or anything else is quite unrealistic due to the quite minuscule skill gap in raw PvP. But if someone does find themselves in a situation like this, possibly the best weapon in the game to use is, an enchanted diamond axe. Now the answer behind this is quite simple. Even though there's a larger refresh rate between each swing, at least I think that's what you call it, the axe does a tremendous amount of damage. And because Dream is usually only able to get 1, maybe 2 hits off on his opponents before he either runs away, or his allies rush to assist him, the refresh rate isn't all that important for Dream anyway. Why do you think in this video, where Dream is facing the most hunters he has ever done before, he's using an axe instead of a sword? Either way, overwhelmed in the chaos of the end, Dream rushes into the dragon to finish him off, and plays an all or nothing strategy. Knowing it will most definitely kill him, he runs straight to the dragon, through the dragon's breath, through the enderman, all of that stuff, and lights a couple of pieces of TNT. And believe it or not, trust me, you have no idea how crazy this is, Dream dies. Yeah. But afterwards, our good friend Douglas falls with him. Yeah, Douglas is just that cool of a dragon, I mean, he's the best. And Dream kind of wins or loses, it really depends on how you look at it. Though believe it or not, this isn't the first time Dream has done this before. The amount of times he's died while also killing the Ender Dragon at the same time, I mean, is actually quite impressive. I mean, he must have a gift for it or something. Back in the rematch video at the very end, he weakens the Ender Dragon using the Speedrunner favorite bed strategy. But tragically, despite going through the effort of discovering an entirely new end portal in order to escape George, Snap, Nap, and Bad, they eventually catch up with him in the end. So here you have Dream, being chased by all three of them, and the Ender Dragon is basically at 0 HP. This is a prime example of the risk Dreams often take. To get anywhere and anything, you gotta take risk. And Dream knows this. He never would have been able to make it past the first 5 minutes if he didn't take risks, but it's calculated risk. Not exactly the kind of thing you'd find on Wall Street Bets, and he's well aware of his skills as a player. Knowing this, Dream has 3 choices here. Continue running, hoping for a chance of getting a clear shot at the Ender Dragon, or turning around trying to 1v3 his opponents. Obviously this will result in his death, as he wouldn't be able to isolate any of them in the flat terrain at the end. Or he could go with choice number 3. Turn around completely unaware of the Ender Dragon's exact health or location, and take one shot, one opportunity to seize everything he ever wanted. Obviously, this would result in his death, but if he managed to hit his shot, he would win the challenge. Confident in his bow skills, he chooses the third option, and manages to kill the Ender Dragon. For the 100th time, but still, it's pretty cool. Through careful strategy, skill, and risk management, Dream is easily one of, if not the best Minecraft players, setting unprecedented accomplishments both achievement-wise, and let's be honest, viewership-wise, when it comes to Minecraft. Anyway, subscribe so we can hit 100,000 and then 10 million. I'd really appreciate that. But hey, that's just a theory. No, I'm just kidding, I'm messing with y'all. Thank you all for watching.